in this one, I'm going to do a real quick run through for you on the Guardian raids. This is kind of be like a quick get started guide, everything you need to know about them going into it, minus specific spoilers on specific boss fights. Let's go. So for the purpose of the guide, we're going to start out in the first main city where you're going to get access to these, which is going to be in the North Burn or Vern, depending on translation, down here at the Burn Castle. And your Guardian raids are going to be up here. They're going to be these little red boards. You can see I'm standing right in front of it here. They look like this. We'll pop over to the tier 1 tab here, and you can see that they begin at item level 302 for the first one. So just like the tower, as soon as you get your very first set of in-game gear, then you can start doing Guardian raids. I'm gonna go ahead and slide me over to the other side to get out of the way here, and you can see they tell you some of the other information right down here at the bottom. Your gear score, rebirth. This is how many times you can die and respawn before it's just a fail and you have to try again. And there's also a 20-minute time limit to complete the whole thing, and there's a little bit more to that I'll show you once we get inside. Before we dive in there, we'll go ahead and take a look at the loot real quick. As you see, you get your accessories in here, you get tradable upgrade materials, you get the ability or engraving stones as a chance. There's a chance at cards, there's a chance at seal books, and there's a chance at runes. The upgrade materials are pretty much guaranteed, and accessories are going to be more in the guaranteed. Ability stones are pretty likely, and then the cards and the books and the runes seem to be kind of like your a little bit rarer chance. If we take a look at the Guardian menu, you'll see these two little bubbles up here. This is essentially your twice per day ability to capture the Guardian soul. This essentially just refers to getting the maximum loot possible out of the Guardian raid for the day. There is news coming in the future. This might be changing to once a day because the Guardian raids in the later tiers actually do get to the point where they're pretty difficult and long, and I think that some people weren't liking the needing to run them twice per day. Another little thing that's nice they have in here, if you'll see up above, I have this bonus bar that is filled. The bonus bar fills if you don't capture your Guardian souls for the day. And what this does is on the following day, if you have this filled up, then you will get 50% of the loot from that day, like added as bonus loot to the current one that you go do. So essentially it's a way to help people not have to feel so trapped into daily content. You can see that they are able to be done solo or grouped, and it will scale the difficulty. But one of the things to keep note is in later ones, it gets much more difficult to solo because there's a lot of mechanics and all the mechanics become focused on you. Soloing the first ones is pretty simple though, no problem. All right, I had to kill the game audio because these windmills over here are gonna be very obnoxious. You'll see similar to the tower, we've got one of these little portal things here, or whatever you want to call it, and this is your recharge station inside of a Guardian raid. You have limited use on your potion, right? You can only use your healing potion 5 times. In a Guardian raid, if you use them up and you need to keep going, you can come back to this center spot here to refill them. There are going to be a few items that you absolutely need inside of Guardian raids. First off is obviously going to be the healing potion. But the other one is if you look at the map, you can see that we don't know where the monster is. This is why it's like kind of like the Monster Hunter, right? You don't know where he is, and there's a time limit. So you could be wasting your time searching for him. It's very important that everybody who does these brings what is known as a signal flare. You slot the signal flare in. Again, you can also only change the things in and out from your bar if you're inside of this area here. Once you leave this area, you can no longer move them around. Now, if we use our number 4 down here, and then we look at the map after we do the flare, now we know where he is. He's right there, so we can go right to him. This saves us time. There's also certain parts during a fight where a boss could either fly away or burrow in the ground if you don't prevent it by doing like an impairment check on them. And then if you don't have the flares, you have to find them all over again, and you can imagine how this would be a really bad scenario in a timed event. While we're on the battle items section here, we'll go ahead and wrap it up with the other items that are going to most likely be the most useful ones for you. One of them is going to be the destruction bomb. Some of the Guardians do have destructible pieces on them, and if you can destroy them, it will make the fight a little bit easier. These are going to be especially useful on classes that have lower impairment and destruction. So if you compare a Berserker to a Paladin, the Paladin's gonna get a little bit more benefit out of making sure they carry around a destruction bomb. The other item that's gonna very likely be useful for you in some fights is this thing called Panacea, or whatever you want to call it. It's essentially a dispel all negative effects thing. There are some fights in certain tiers where maybe you get your screen kind of like partially blinded, or maybe you get set on fire. So this is a thing that'll help in those. And then from there, it's really about playing around with it, figure out what you like, right? There's little shields and there's other bombs and there's all kinds of different stuff you can use. But what you absolutely have to have is the potion and the flare. So another thing that you should be aware of for Guardian raids is there is the ability to counter. Every class will have one counter skill. Here's a video demonstrating the Guardian will glow blue, and then you have to use your counter skill, and the counter skill has to be used from the front of the boss. So it's kind of risky. You're risking taking the hit, but if you land the counter, you essentially kind of stun the boss. It's great for like creating a burst window. And that's everything you need to know on Guardian raids. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys got some benefit out of it. If you did, maybe drop me the like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.